Do you think that's going to change, this idea of not drafting a running back in the first round? Like, it seems that the evidence is getting stronger and stronger that, look, they can be talented players, but it's just not going to matter.
So here's the thing. We only know right now, other than our behind-the-scenes interactions with teams, we only know what the draft media put out there. And I didn't mean Lance Zierlein gave them the running back, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
And Lance is fine. I mean, Lance does good work, and Daniel Jeremiah. And
the thing is, a lot of them are projecting anyway. So it's like, this is what I think will happen.
Right.
Which is fine. It's not their mistake, if you like, if that happens.
Well, I think teams are going to start getting smarter. The issue is when teams, I think there's a lot of misuse of information out there. I've seen a lot of stuff where it's like, if you want to find a running back, you got to get him in the first round because these first round running backs have been really productive. And it's true. Like, if running backs drafted in the first round, they probably put up really good numbers. But it's another one of those things where it's like, it's because they were given the opportunities. The fact that you can find those running backs later and still give them opportunities and get the same production. The point I was trying to make with the evaluators right now, putting draft boards together and stuff like that, I think we're probably one of the only sites that truly is thinking about team building as we put together our draft board and our mock drafts that are honed toward what we would do, what Mike Renner would do in this draft. So as I'm looking through his mock draft, I don't think we're ever going to see a running back in the first round. We're probably only going to see generational type guards, and we're going to see guys that affect, all I see is guys that affect the pass game. I see quarterbacks, obviously. I see really good pass rushers. I see pass protectors at tackle. I see good interior pass rushers, and then safeties and corners and receivers. I mean, guys that can catch pass. It's all pass game driven type of guys. I think other people in draft media are trying to this team needs a running back. Let's give them a running back. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to build a team. They're trying to fill spots on a depth chart that kind of makes sense. That's why Leonard Fournette was picked a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, the Jags feel strong everywhere. Let's just draft Leonard Fournette.
I think it's just getting interesting that things are definitely shifting in the NFL at the moment towards analytics, data-driven, more information is better than less information, all this kind of stuff. To the point where people that mocked it in the past are kind of having to come out now and sort of, at least tacitly say, yeah, okay, we're doing some of this anyway. Now, one of the areas where the evidence is most strong is this concept of running backs being interchangeable. And as good as they may be, as talented as they may be, if you screw with their environment, it doesn't matter. Saquon Barkley couldn't be a better example, right? Guy comes out, he's a generational talent. He's the best running back prospect since Barry Sanders, whatever, right? People were going a long way back to say that this is the best player we have seen in decades. Now, he hits the ground running, fantastic as a rookie. Next year, where's Saquon? Where the production's disappeared. So the whole Todd Gurley, great when things are functioning, disappears when they're not. Zeke Elliott handed the $90 million contract, couldn't carry the team over the line to the playoffs. They, in fact, went away from him. All these kinds of things. Derrick Henry doing nothing until Ryan Tannehill gets into the quarterback position. Suddenly the offense is transformed. There's evidence all over the place that, and then you have, 49ers with a whole running back full of undrafted guys. The Damian Williams, Super Bowl MVP candidate. The evidence could not be stronger that running backs simply are not worth taking high because you can change them in. If the environment is good, they'll be successful. And if it's not, they won't be successful regardless of how talented they are. So given that the rest of the NFL is already sort of heading in this direction of data-driven things, I'm curious if we're going to get to a point where teams start actually doing that. Now, it's tricky because you only need one, right? You only need one Dave Gettleman to keep drafting a running back at 5.
Yeah, I think we're slowly going to move that way. I think there's enough people that misinterpret what's actually happening. Because again, a lot of people looked at last night and you can't tell me running backs don't matter. Look what Damian Williams did. He ran for over 100. He had the 30, the game-winning run and all that stuff. And we're like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah,
is that he wasn't a first-round pick, and you put him in the game. If Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey was in the Chiefs' system, they would be incredible because they're extremely talented, and the opportunities that they would have running into space, catching passes in space, and the way they would be used, their production would be off the charts. But that's the whole point of if you're going to draft this running back in the first round, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott, and then you have to say, all we have to do is have an awesome play caller, an awesome offensive line, give them a million opportunities, use them in the passing game, 150 times a year, and then they're going to be good. That's that's like 6 caveats before you're getting your value out of that guy. That's the whole point. Versus with another, you could grab another running back in the 4th or 5th round, and even if they get you 90% of the production, that's the point. You can get 90% of that production 4 rounds later, say, right?
Yeah. I mean, the other issue is they can't carry anything. So even if you can't get that production, you're wasting your time to try and fix that thing before you fix all the other things that affect that thing.
Yeah. I would. So here's the other thing that the analytics guys always seem to go to is that I've learned a lot about. It's more like the study of human behavior when you have these guys, right? So it's not just in a vacuum, passes more than run and this and that. It's more the human behavior of when you have Zeke, you feel the need to build the offense around him. Or when you have a Derrick Henry and you feel the need to build an offense around him, right? When the best offenses have a running back who is a part of a greater good. The offense is built around the pass game, the receivers, the tight end, and oh, by the way, if you forget about Alvin Kamara, we're going to create mismatches for him and crush you. But that offense is still built around Drew Brees and Michael Thomas and moving the ball in chunks. And then, oh, by the way, here's a mismatched running back that you have to worry about as well. They're a part of a greater whole. They're not the offense. The offense isn't built around them. And again, in the running backs don't matter world, which I hate don't matter, but the running backs are somewhat interchangeable. The 49ers are just trotting out anybody in that offense and generally running the ball pretty well until last night. But they're generally running the ball pretty well no matter who the running back is. That's the whole history of the Shanahan scheme. You go from Terrell Davis to the Mike Andersons to Alandis Gary and Warwick Dunn, and they're all productive.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.